Hey guys, Mike here. In this video, I'm going to react to Choop's and LinkKing's tier list for all the units. And how I'm gonna do this is I'm just going to skip ahead to each character and say whether I agree or disagree. And if I agree with them, then I'm not going to listen to what they say. Um, and it's also if I generally agree with them as well. So like if they rank someone as A, but I feel like they're an S or B, then I'll just move on to the next character. I won't really say much, and I'll just say I'll agree. And if I haven't used the character, then I will just skip that character because I have no opinion. Because even though I'm still my fourth playthrough and there's some characters I still haven't used yet, so just to be fair, I won't rank them. And I guess let's just get right into it, see how this goes. Okay, so the first one is a Lear. A, yeah, I agree, I guess. And let's just go to the next one. Vander, C. Do I agree with that? I feel like he's more in D. He's just so hard to get off the ground. But I can see C, that's fine. Clan, D. Clan's a bit rough. The issue with Clan is that his strength is pretty mediocre and his magic is quite bad. So it's funny because they put you like he starts out as a mage, so you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll just make him to a mage, but he really suffers from the lack of magic growth, even if you class him to a sage or a mage knight. So yeah, he's pretty. D seems right. He has fantastic speed, so he can make a good dodge tank, and he's pretty much doubling everyone no matter what class he goes. So Clan D, do I agree with that? I mean, early game he puts in quite a bit of work. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with D. I know why they put him in D, because his strength and magic is so shit. I mean, his strength it's not terrible. Like it's at 35 growth, I think, but the issue is that because he starts off in a mage class, he's kind of in this weird place, and then you don't really have that much emblems to kind of switch classes efficiently. So he's just like stuck in this mage class, which you don't want him to be in there. And your priority is to get him out of mage class as soon as possible. So yeah, I can see C as D. I would probably put him at C maybe. If you get lucky, maybe a B. I don't know. C probably for me. All right, let's see who's next. Ram C. I don't quite agree with that. I just kept her as martial master, and she's a terrorist basically. I mean, she could pretty much kill all units, with the yellow art, fist art. I forget what it's called, but yeah, even though she would take counter damage, she would still like just straight out kill them, like even paladins and stuff. So I'm not sure if C is accurate. I would put her in at least B. Maybe since I was lucky, my level up's maybe A, but I don't know. I don't really agree with that, but let's move on. All right, Alfred D. D. The thing is, like, I can see why they put them in these classes. D is a bit rough. I would put him at least C. Well, okay. I think I know the reason why they put him in D is because he's stuck to lances initially, and lances are kind of in this middle ground where they're not super strong, but they're not fast either. So you're not doubling reliably like swords, and you're not reliably busting like axes. Lances are kind of this weird middle ground, and I think his growth and strength are not spectacular, so that's why I think they put him in D. I would put him at C. I don't know. The way I usually patch him up, I just give him Rider's Bane, and he just kills everything. So I mean, I know that's not really how you should be rating units, because you have to rate them just on their own, without giving them special items and stuff. But I don't know. I would put him at C maybe. I don't know. All right, next, Boucheron D. Don't quite agree with that. The thing is, it's so hard to rate them because it's really how you patch them up and use them. I mean, I'm trying to think of like, if they're trying to rate them just on their own. Boucheron has high dex and high defense and high HP, I believe, but he really suffers from strength, so his strength is not that good. I don't know about D. I would put him at least C. Me personally, maybe B or A, but I'm not sure about D, to be honest. Because Boucheron is easily patched up. Just give him a Lin emblem on a Tomahawk. That's like, it's impossible to make these tier lists because like everybody has different ways they patch them up, and like I think Lin Emblem on a Tomahawk is an extremely efficient way to patch him up, and it's quick and easy, and it gets the job done. So, I don't know about D. I'll put him at least C. All right, Etier B. Etier is B. He does have good strength. I mean, I just use it as a sniper, and even I can recognize she wasn't that good as a sniper. I mean, even though she got a lot of MVPs for me on my first Madden playthrough, the reason she did that was just because I force-fed her kills, to be honest. And I just made her into a crit fisher. I'll kind of put her at no opinion, just because like I just kept her at the sniper class that whole game, and that was my first playthrough, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I'll just say I have no opinion on Etier, to be honest. All right, Saline B. Saline, I guess I kind of agree. The thing is, like, if you give her the Levin sword, it's a good fit for her, but the fact that can use tomes is kind of like, why would you use tomes if you're using the Levin sword, right? If you're trying to do magic damage, just use the Levin sword. Why do you need tomes? So it's kind of wasted that her Vidame class can use tomes, especially if you're giving her the Levin sword. And then I just kind of kept her as a staff bot, to be honest. She wasn't particularly special. I would probably rate her C, maybe. I can kind of see B. Yeah, like her speed and her defensive capabilities are, like res and defense, are nothing to write home about. So I don't know. I might stick with C, but though slightly disagree there. Lewis as A. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It really depends how you play him. I mean, I know he has high strength and high defense, and if you put him in a kind of a weaker class like Berserker, then results may vary. I kind of agree. Yeah, A is fine. Chloe, I have no opinion because I actually haven't used her yet. I'm on my 4th playthrough already. I still haven't used her, to be honest. So, I'll trust their opinion, but we'll see when I actually try her out. It's kind of funny. I still never used Chloe, and I think she's like a fan favorite for a lot of people. Jean as C. That's kind of a hard disagree for me. I would put him in S, just because his growths are too good. Like he grows in every single stat, and once he can go to any class really, and I find he's not that hard to train up. You know, you get him really early. Yeah, this is a hard disagree for me. I definitely put him in S. Like, I put him in, I just kept him as a monk in the beginning, and when I finally got my hands on some second seals and master seals, I just reclassed him into a sage. And then because he was already leveling up tons of speed, and he continued to level up speed, he turned into a magic buster, magic speedster combo, which is an extremely rare combo, which is overpowered if you can get a magic buster, magic speedster combo. And he's just, because he just has so much stats. That's why Jean is so good. And yeah, I didn't even use him my first few playthroughs, and then when I finally used him, I was like, yeah, he's good. So maybe I can try to listen as to why they put him at C. Let's just listen a little bit.
Okay. It's like average. I'm telling you, he's better than these 5. Like, he will instantly be better than Boucheron in his contribution. He'll be a backup unit immediately once you reclass him, and he'll have more strength.
But you can reclass anyone into a backup unit, just putting that out there. You can literally do it for anybody, and they'll contribute. So, okay.
But not everyone is going to have the growth boost that Jean has.
Yeah, but
right. So,
I think they're arguing out something that doesn't really matter, so I'm going to not listen to them. I put him in S. Okay, maybe I'm just being facetious right now. I'm going to listen to them probably later, but this is just a quick way for me to just see what they said and give you my reaction. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Yunaka. I never used Yunaka yet either. I'll probably use her on my female maddening only run. So subscribe if you're interested in that. That'd probably be my 4th playthrough of the game. So yeah. Haven't used her. As you can see, I clearly don't use the Coomer bait characters. Zelkov. Okay, Zelkov S or A. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Yeah, nothing more for me to say about that. Really fast, can use daggers, has pretty good attack power when he joins, dodges everything quite reliably, easy to patch up. Yeah, he's very reliable. Yeah, Zelkov does fall off a little bit when, towards endgame. Like his strength, especially if you keep him as a thief, his strength might start to dwindle a little bit. So you just might have to keep an eye on him towards the end, though. Who did they add? Was that Anna they added? Yeah, it was Anna. Anna C. Do I agree with this? Well, her personal skill, the one that makes money, I pretty much just ignore it. It's nothing I really focus on. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion. you are not making a lot of money off of that skill. It's just a little bonus. That's how I think of it, and that's how you should probably think of her personal skill. C. Wonder why they put her in C. I would put her in B or A. I would not put her in C. I mean, her magic is nothing to sneeze at. I don't think she's that hard to get kills on, and I think probably the reason they put her in C is because she takes a lot of maintenance to get rolling. Yeah, I mean, maybe I picked my class properly. I put her in Warrior and gave her the Radiant Bow, so she's, she's always had opportunities to hit units and get steal kills and get experience, so I think that's just, maybe I got lucky in the way I played her. But I can see why they put her in C, but I'd say A, B, or C. I don't know. All right, let's go Penette next. Penette S. Do I agree with that? I would probably put her in the same class as Louis. A. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Penette. Penette's one of my favorites. Yeah, I would just put her in A. I don't think she's an S character. She's an S character in terms of her visual and her character, so yeah. Actually, I don't even know what they're ranking them. I think they're ranking them on strength, right? Or are they ranking them on looks? I think they're just ranking them on strength. But yeah, she's definitely an S for visuals. But for strength, I would put her at A. Alchrist, A. Yeah, I can agree with that. Luna's good. You can build them a few different ways with criticals, and yeah, I think A is fine for Alchrist. Lapis, F. I agree with this. I'm trying to think why they put her in F without them saying. So I think the reason they put her in F is because her speed is probably mid. Her defense is mid. She has like no defensive capabilities whatsoever. She doesn't really have an identity because she's in this weird Myrmidon hero place, but she can't really do good as a fast Myrmidon swordmaster type character, and she can't really do good as a hero because her defensive capabilities are still weak. Her build is also notoriously low, so it's hard to give her like any weapons so that she won't get doubled, and she can't even double if her build is suffering, so she really needs build badly. And because, like I said, her speed isn't good, that's not doing her any favors because she needs both speed and build. Yeah, I can see why they put her in F. Honestly, I just don't put people in F because I'm sorry if I sound cocky. I'm pretty good at this game, so I would put her in D, maybe. Yeah, D is fine. And again, it goes to the issue, like, it depends how you patch them up. Like, are you counting, pumping resources into them? Are you ranking them also at one factor is like how easy are they to patch up? Everybody's going to rank them differently. So this is pretty much like no one's going to agree on these things anyways, unless we all come to a consensus on what the criteria we're ranking them by. So yeah, F. I can see F. All right, let's go to Citrine C. I think I know why they put her in C. I think they put her in C because her speed is crap, and I'm here to say if you're trying to put speed on her, just give up. Just don't put speed on her. She doesn't want speed. She doesn't need speed. She just wants magic. If you just pump magic into her or just make her into a sage, she will just annihilate things, or she'll do like 70 to 80 or even 90% of the damage of the HP bar. And she's a magic buster. That's the only class she can play as, is magic buster. Do not make her into a mage knight. Do not make her into anything else. She's just a sage. That's all she's supposed to be. So I kind of disagree with this. I would put her as probably S or A. I would probably put Citrine as S or A because, like, if you identify that she's a magic buster and you use her as a magic buster and you get her really early too, like in chapter 6 or 7 or 8, you can start investing in her, and she's already, she's not like fully ready to go, but if you identify magic buster role and just keep pumping EXP into her sage class, she's a terrorist. She can just hit so hard with magic spells. So I don't really agree with that C. All right, Diamant D. I can see that. I think the reason they put him in D is because he's like a slightly better Lapis, whereas his defense is slightly better, I think, and his speed might be slightly better. So I think that's why they put him in D. I keep saying her. They put him in D. I can see that. I feel like Diamant, if you try to make him anything other than a successor class, which is his special hero type class, you might have some hard time or some trouble using him. And I feel like if you don't use Roy on him, because Roy was tailor-made for Diamant, if you put Roy on Diamant, it's pretty good in my opinion. And yeah, if you try to play him outside of how the developers designed him to be played, then yeah, you're gonna struggle a little. So I think that's why they put him at D. I would probably put him C at least, maybe C. I would rate him a little higher than D. All right, let's go next. Amber B. Interesting. I would actually agree with that. He just has so much freaking strength. He has like 45 strength growth, and he's just really strong. He's a physical buster, and a very reliable one at that. Yeah, I think B is fine. B is fine. Oh, okay. I think they put Jade now over here. Jade as D. I mean, I used her as a Great Knight, and she did all right. I would, based on my experience with her as a Great Knight, I would put her in C maybe. I still have to try her as a general. I don't know, D seems a bit low. Maybe it's just her defense is too high. Actually, I haven't looked into her growths. Maybe because she was doing fine. Like, I had felt no need to actually look at her growths. So, I don't know. I would slightly disagree with that. Maybe C. And I potentially maybe even B. I'm not too sure about that. Get to A. Yeah, they probably put him in A just because his bases and when he joins are just so good. And he's fast and he can go into multiple roles. Like, even I know that. And I've actually never really used him that much. So, yeah, A seems pretty obvious to me. All right, who we got next? Fogado. Fogado, I actually haven't used at all, so I can't comment on him. Andreo, B. Slightly disagree with that. Probably A. I would probably put him in A. His bases are fantastic when he joins. Yeah, he's just super reliable. He has the staves, magic. You can throw a fist on him if you really want him, because a high priest can use fists. So if you need a fister, Andreo's your dude if you're lacking fisters. B. The reason I might think they put him in B is because he starts to fall off a little towards endgame. Like, his magic starts to kind of slow up down a little bit, so he's not that reliable in magic towards the end of the game. So maybe like a reclass into Sage could help him out if you're trying to focus on magic for him. So yeah, I would probably put him in A. Tamara, F. I agree with this. I slightly agree with this. I mean, I would probably never put anyone in F. Oh, I actually forgot Bune. Well, let's talk about Tamara first. So Tamara, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anyone here. Okay, yeah, Tamara and Bune. So Tamara, I would put her in D, maybe, just because I don't think anyone is like total ass at this game. The issue with Tamara is that she suffers from a few things. So her build is extremely low, so she suffers from the same problem as Lapis. She has really low build, and what's even worse is that she uses lances. So lances are heavier than swords, so even more she's suffering from that build problem. And then the issue is that her personal skill is Sandstorm, which is actually good on paper, but it just doesn't synergize well with her build and her weapon type, right? So, and if you're going to use her special class to use Sandstorm, then you have to stick with lances. So you really need to patch up her build ASAP, whether with speed or with build up. And then the next issue with Tamara is that her strength is pretty shitty. So that, because Sandstorm lets you use her defense instead of her strength when you calculate the attack values, and it has a bonus to the attack values when Sandstorm procs, and it uses defense. So it's like she's in this weird place where, okay, now I need to focus and make her into a crit fisher and pump her dex up and just pump the number of rolls she can get on Sandstorm as much as possible, because like another way you can play crit procking and Sandstorm procking is by just doing like a Brave Lance or building her speed enough so that she can reliably double, and do that with alacrity. So you can roll more effective crits or have more chances to roll on a crit. And then the alacrity will allow you to safely get 2 hits in before the enemy can counterattack. So that's a safe way to try and get a crit. But because you do need speed to even do that, and because she suffers from the build and the speed, it's like it's playing against her. So that I see why they put her in F. Yeah, she's really hard to, and she takes a lot of maintenance and patching up to get to a reliable point where you're just critting and sandstorming all the time. So yeah, I can see that's why they put her in F. I would probably, like I said, put her in D, just because I don't think anyone is like F. Bune, I actually have not used Bune, and I like every time I look at him, I'm like, I don't want to use Bune. So I'll force myself to use him eventually, but right now I haven't used him yet. Who did we add? Did we add Marin? Yeah, we added Marin. Okay, Marin as A. Yeah, she's good. I think A is fine. Very fast, very reliable. Yeah, A is good. Hortensia A. I think for beginner players, Hortensia's a good choice. I think when you get really good at this game and you can just manage and use staves effectively, you don't really need her. So I think she's good for beginner players, but after a while, you don't really need her. The World Tree is nice. I mean, it's not really saving you money. The thing you really want World Tree to proc on is for warp staffs and rewarp staves and what else? All of those fancy staves, right? The really expensive ones. So, but I find you can get through the game, even on maddening, without having to have any of those World Tree procs on those expensive staves. So I do like that she has fast speed as well, so she can reliably double and build meter well. So yeah, I think A is fine. I would probably put her in maybe somewhere between B and A. Maybe B if I'm having a bad day, probably B. Good day, probably A. Sadal, S, of course. Of course, Sadal is S. Sadal lets you, he's like a wild card character. He does two things. Sadal lets you use whatever character you really need on that player phase, you know, so he's effectively like any role. He can do anything. He's a wild card, he's a joker. And another thing he allows you to do is he allows you to not spend resources into him, which allows you to divert those resources and use it on someone else who needs them more, because Sadal does not need anything. You can literally don't even equip a fist art on him. You just throw him items on him just like a pack mule, and because he's not fighting, he's supposed to be dancing another unit so that other unit can do something more optimally on the player phase. So yeah, of course he's an S. Alright, Rosado is next. C. Yeah, Rosado, the issue with Rosado is, I'm gonna guess what they're gonna say, and the issue is he comes with axes, and while he does have fantastic speed, he has fantastic growths in most stats, the issue is his bases are low, like his strength is based at 16 strength, which is incredibly low when he joins, so he takes a lot of work to patch up. And the issue is his weapon type is axes, so like even though he does have good speed and good speed growths, the fact that he's slowed down by axes, which are really heavy, does not do him any favors. So he doesn't feel very fast at all. So yeah, he has an identity crisis when he joins, which is kind of funny because like I guess he's a crossdresser, so I don't know if he's having an identity crisis with his gender or whatever, but he definitely has an identity crisis with his class and his what weapons he's trying to use and just like how he's trying to contribute to the army. So I can kind of see, but he has fantastic growths across the board. So if you are able to get across the initial hurdle with Rosado, then yeah, you can build him into a really strong unit. So yeah, I kind of agree. C seems fine. All right, I think the last one is Goldmary here. Goldmary C. I use her as a general, and generals I think are overpowered. So maybe they used her as something else. She does have fantastic defense. She has some of the best defense in the game. I don't really know why they put her at C, to be honest. I'd probably put her in B. If you're using it as a general, then maybe just the testament to how good general is in this game. And I would rate her higher, but yeah, nothing particularly stands out for me with Goldmary. So yeah, maybe A, B, C, or D. I don't know, it really depends how you use her. So, all right. I think that's pretty much it for this video. There's all. I give you my opinions on whether I agree or disagree with them. I'll probably listen to their opinions later on when I have some time. But yeah, it looks interesting. I think I overall agree, and I can see why they would play certain units lower or higher. I see the reasoning, so it's not like if I disagree, it's because I think their reasoning is stupid. It's just I do understand the reasoning behind it, and yeah. So hope you enjoyed that video, and thanks for watching.